Hey guys, Grim here. In today's guide we will talk about mercenaries in Diablo 2 Resurrected, who they are, how they differ from one another, and which ones are better to hire. You will receive your first mercenary after completing the second quest of Act 1. This will be an archer who will follow you everywhere. You can always change your mercenary for another one with a different ability by going to the recruitment NPC. All mercenaries are different based on the act and the difficulty level on which you hired them. Act 1 mercenaries are archers who use either fire arrow or cold arrow and can equip both as weapons. The type of helmet and the armor the mercenary can use is determined only by the level of the character and his strength. If your mercenary dies, you can resurrect them in the city at the same NPC where you hired them. That will cost you a certain amount of gold based on the mercenary level. The higher the level, more gold you have to pay. Mercenaries of the second act are hired from Greys, and there are no conditions for hiring them. These are fighters who use various polearms in order to attack the enemy in the close combat. Due to the fact that the mercenary actively runs forward to attack opponents, he usually takes the majority of enemy hits upon himself, instead of your character. The second important feature of Act 2 mercenary is active aura. This mercenary has an aura that restores health to himself and all allies that are present within the aura radius. Mercenaries of Act 3 are hired by Ashara. Here you can hire battle mages. Despite the fact that mercenary is a mage, he uses a sword and a shield as his main equipment. However, he does not use them in close combat, but rather casts various magic spells from a distance. In Act 4 there are no mercenaries that you can hire, unfortunately. In Act 5 mercenaries are hired by Qual Kek, and these are barbarians melee fighters who use two-handed swords for melee attacks. They also actively dive into combat and can be suitable for any class that attacks from the distance. However, unlike the mercenaries from the second act, they do not have active auras that would help the player or their allies. Similar to your character, mercenaries also have different parameters such as strength, dexterity, and resistances. All these parameters increase automatically when your mercenary levels up. The higher the level, the higher the resistance and the level of strength and dexterity. However, there is one non-obvious feature. A mercenary hired immediately with a high level will have lower parameters than a mercenary whom you hired at, for example, level 20 and then leveled up. Mercenaries gain experience and levels alongside your character. You don't need to do anything special for that. There is a very important point. Active skills of some mercenaries differ depending on the difficulty level where you hired them. For example, defensive Act 2 mercenary of Nightmare difficulty will have a different aura than the same mercenary hired on normal or hell difficulties. So what kind of mercenary should you choose from such a wide variety? In fact, the choice is usually narrowed down to just two types. Both of those can be hired in Act 2 of Nightmare difficulty. Other mercenaries are used in very rare cases, so if you're just starting to explore the world of Diablo 2 Resurrected, then we recommend to pick mercenary from Act 2 Nightmare difficulty with the Holy Freeze aura. This mercenary will freeze all enemies around, not allowing them to approach you, inflicting periodic damage, and generally recognized as the most versatile and valuable mercenary in the game. As an alternative, in the same act you can hire a mercenary with an aura of might, which increases damage dealt by mercenary himself, your character and your minions if you're playing, for example, as summon necromancer. This aura increases the damage very significantly, and such a mercenary is suitable for characters who use direct melee attacks, ranged attacks with a bow, or rely on melee summons to assist them. However, the aura of might does not affect magic spells. Summing up, your choice usually comes down to these two mercenaries. If you still can't decide, then pick the one with the Holy Freeze aura as a more versatile solution. Let's briefly look at the equipment for the mercenaries. Since they usually take a lot of damage, you need to equip them accordingly so they would remain alive and helpful. Best suited items would have stats of life stolen per hit, increased resistances, and reduced incoming damage, like this Vampire Guy's helmet. Ideally, all merc gear should also be ethereal, because when equipped on the mercenary, item does not lose any durability, and ethereal items have higher base stats compared to the normal versions. Fast attack speed, maximum resistances, as well as absorption of various damage will be the key for survival of your mercenary, which then will allow you to survive in most difficult situations. What specific items should be given to your mercenary depends on the build you want to use. We will talk about that in another guide. If you found this video helpful, give us a like and we'll see you next time.